Just to forewarn you, that was not an easy process. I did not document that because it was actually quite painful. It's better now. That was day one. I think day two, the pain was less because it started to heal, and because the salter had immediately started healing it, I didn't itch it in the night. I didn't actually need to itch because what was itching it was. Okay, hello dancers. This is Keisha Tonte from Tonte Dance. I am documenting day two of my solo trip. It's the summer of 2024, and I normally do I've developed a new tradition which I like to do now of having a nice trip for my birthday. And so this is the second time I've done it, second year running. Really enjoy time with God. Love coming next to water. That's my favorite thing to do because of worshiping on the beach, things like that. But I'm just also trying to be obedient to what He wants me to share with you so that you can also get your healing and it not just be about my journey, but obviously it's about me sharing my journey so that you can also get yours. I believe the testimonies are very powerful, and so I'm just going to share so far. So I am in a beautiful surrounding. The weather's beautiful. It's been hot all day. Yesterday I was just chilling. I flew in and I was just chilling in the evening, had some beautiful breakfast, beautiful hotel. I'll have to give you a little tour at some point. And the staff are really wonderful. Food is great. And they've got all the things that cater to allergies, which is amazing at this hotel. I'll have to post the link somewhere in case you want to find a place to go. It's right in front of the beach. I must say, I am very super impressed with this reception so far at the hotel. As you can see, a lovely big space here for dancing in, and even a kitchen, little TV, but no time for. Oh, there's one TV over there, another TV over here, in case I get bored of which one to watch. And I told them it was my birthday, and they bought a cake that I can't eat and some champagne. Oh, I don't know if it's champagne, but it's some kind of drink. Isn't that so cute? Mrs. Keisha Tonte Njoku. It's my birthday, everyone. Yay! Where's the mirror? Yay. What's really important for me at the moment is to keeping my stress levels down, because whether you know or you don't know, stress going up equals eczema flare ups. So sometimes I feel like um, the stuff that's happening to us on the inside is actually the really what's being shown on our skin. So if our skin is going downhill, it's a reflection of what's actually going on internally. So we're going to be on a journey of changing what's going on internally so that it will not impact negatively on our skin, and it will help our healing journey. And for those who don't know, we're talking about eczema healing for dancers. And yeah, so basically, in regards with my skin, I shared with you who previously following me that I had it for a number of years, as in many, many years, suffered with it, and went through a period in the last few years where it was completely healed and was completely gone, and I was just completely felt like a normal human being for the first time in a very long time. And then I went through a period of stress, and lo and behold, it was back just on my hands. I don't know if you can see that. So I just wanted to let you know a little thing that may be useful for you. One of the reasons why I like to come to somewhere like this is because the climate is tropical, which is good for my skin. The humidity is good. The heat is fine for me. It's not fine for everybody with eczema, but for me, it's fine. But going into the sea is something that I want to share with you, because when I go into the sea, particularly here, because I've been into many seas, not in the UK, guys. I don't mean going into the sea in the UK. I mean going into the sea in somewhere in Europe, or if you want to go further afield, depending on where you are, the saltiness of the water, and this is something that I do actually at home, because because it's quite dry, it becomes flaky and the skin begins to open. That means it's susceptible to infection, which is what the problem I'm having now. And so I have to keep it clean. So one of the ways I do this is put in salt water, at home. Just put in the salts, bath salts. You can either use pink, or I use pink Himalayan salt, or the Epsom bath salts, and then soak my hands in it in quite hot water. I use the hot water, not the cool water, because the cool water begins to immediately itch my skin. I have very hot water, not scalding, or very, very cold. One or the other. Has to be not, can't be lukewarm. Can't be lukewarm. It has to be really hot or really cold. Then it tricks my brain into thinking that there's no need for itching, because it cannot have the itch and the kind of intense heat or intense cold at the same time. So I have it quite hot. I soak my hands, and it immediately feels better. It actually gets rid of the itch. And if you're having an itch scratch attack and you want to calm it down, you could try that, and that works. But what I found is here, the salt water, that water behind me, is so potent, like with salt, like it's beyond, like don't get it in your mouth, like it's crazy. But the effect it immediately has on my skin, it begins to heal it. Like I could almost come out the water and just have a look, and I can see it just start to kind of heal up and just dry up a little bit, and um, feel less irritated and less inflamed. And that's an immediate response just by going in here. So the little bit of salt I'm putting on at home clearly isn't enough. This type of salt, oh my gosh, if I was here for like couple of weeks, it would be gone. And that's happened to me before when I travel to Jamaica and places like that where they have this kind of atmosphere. My skin just immediately clears up because God has placed everything around us to heal us. It's just that in the UK, things have gone upside down and we have to find alternative ways if we cannot be coming places like this all the time to get the same effect as here. Now, if you want to hit the root cause, then we're going for reducing stress. Coming here again is reducing stress, but you cannot come be traveling all the time. So you've got to think of ways to reduce your stress. And if you continue to follow me, I'll be giving you those tips. Please sign up to the email list and I'll be putting out some content. I'm actually here strategizing and thinking about what you guys need. I'm documenting things so that when I start to put the content out there, it's going to be relevant to actually really help you get to your healing, your eczema healing, especially for dancers who, when the sweat comes on in your dance classes and the scratch attack comes and you're trying to concentrate on the choreography and not think about what you look like or your skin or how it feels, then let's get away from that now. Let's move on from all of that. And it's possible. Healing is possible. So the tip for today really is just about cleansing of the skin and how important keeping, in order to reduce the infection, the kind of salt water that cleanses the skin is immediately effective. And so if you cannot replicate that or travel all the time, then think of a way to replicate that. And I'll post some links somewhere around here to show you how you can replicate that kind of thing at home. All right. So that's a short-term fix, but we're going for a long-term fix. So follow me and be ready for the information I'm going to be putting out so that you're not just tackling the immediate things, but we're going for the long haul with this. Yeah. And I'm going to be here to support you all the way. I am being a bit, it's not actually easy for me to document all of this because I'm actually going through it at the same time. So, but I just want to be transparent so that you can understand I'm coming from a place of someone who gets it. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening and I've got a few more days here and I will give you a few updates as to what's been going on and any more eczema healing tips for dancers that I come across that could be useful for you. Good night and peace out. So within a few minutes, it actually got really dark. So I went and got this light so you can see me a bit better. There's something that I forgot to add about the salt water. It's not actually a very nice process, by the way. Here, when I put my hands in the salt water at home, it's actually quite relaxing. But when I put my hands in the salt water here, when you're in the water, it's fine. But as soon as you come out, because I'd been itching, now if you've not been itching that much, it'd be fine. But because I'd itched a couple of days before, so my skin was quite raw, You can imagine an open wound with salt, it burns. So I'm just, as a disclaimer, if you're traveling, in full transparency, I'm quite determined to try these things and let you know how they work and things like that. And because I've had this for so long, I'm not actually afraid of pain. But I don't know, in the sense that I've had this kind of discomfort for so long, my body has gotten used to suffering quite a level of pain where I'm able to use my mindset to focus and get through. Not that I want to be at a certain that level all the time. Obviously, it's not a good thing to push through pain all the time, but in the sense of when it's going to be beneficial to go through a little bit of discomfort so you can have the comfort afterwards. That's more what I'm talking about. So when I went in the water, like even today, I've went in twice because I'm trying to go in multiple times whilst I'm here to try and get the healing going and get rid of the infections so I can heal up quickly. Um, I go in, and when I come out, give it to, let's say, 5, 6 seconds, it starts to sting. Then I have to actually go and sit down on my mat and just breathe. Like, I don't, thank God I'm on my own because I don't really want to talk to anyone at that point because it's actually the first day when it was sore, it was really painful. It was like actual pain because I'd actually really scratched it a couple of days before. Um, and I had to just sit there and like almost focus my mind. It's almost like when I'm training in dance, or you go to fitness. We used to have this fitness class when I was studying at uni, and it was pretty intense. And if you're going hard at an exercise and you have to keep focus, I used to sort of focus my eyes on a particular something in front of a poster on the wall or something like that. And I used to breathe through the pain, and then it would send my mind to a different space so that I couldn't feel the pain as much, and I could go further than some other people who were not focusing. So I'd learned that trick actually through childbirth because when you're in labor and you've got that level of pain, they do tell you to focus on something and then breathe through it. So I used that in fitness. I also used it when I was in pain coming out of the sea. And I just sit there and breathe. And if you focus on the pain, of course, it's going to feel more intense. I focus on my breathing and releasing. And I'm telling myself at the same time, this is going to subside. And actually, my skin is going to get better as a result. And maybe I shouldn't scratch it so much. Then it wouldn't hurt so much, you know. Of course, it's not that easy to stop the itch scratch cycle, which we will go into at another time. But yeah, so just to forewarn you, that was not an easy process. I did not document that because it was actually quite painful. It's better now. That was day one. I think day two, the pain was less because it started to heal, and because the salter had immediately started healing it, I didn't itch it in the night. I didn't actually need to itch because what was itching it was the infection, and that had been killed. Like the salt had run like completely like annihilated it, the thing that was causing the itching. So I didn't scratch it, so it begun to heal. I've only been here a couple of days, you know. So then if I go in again tomorrow, I believe it will even be less. So the pain will get less and less. So I'm just warning you that if you have an open wound you've just scratched, then it is going to be quite painful to do that. But when I do this at home, even if I've scratched, maybe because the salt's a bit less, it doesn't affect me as much and it actually feels quite nice. So I just thought I'd be open and honest with you about this experience. Was very painful. I'm still going in because it's actually working, and the pain is getting less because it's actually healing. So my skin is actually healing due to the salt. But we want to maintain this and want to keep listening to God for the actual healing and what He's telling us to do, aside from the other things in the environment around that can help us through the process. All right, so I want to talk a bit more about that with you because I think it's really important to hear what God is saying to you personally about your journey and what it is you should be doing and being obedient about, because actually it's sometimes not what we think. So even though this is helping me, you know, God has told me specifically to do um, some kind of exercise in my body, as in physical exercise, something that I was actually doing for a dance injury. And He said, if you keep doing that, it's going to do something within your body that is going to release the reason why it's more on my right hand and not on my left. I've got a whole imbalance in my right and left side, and I've been to physio because of that. And when I'm dancing and I do a lunge on my left leg, the left side has been taking a lot of pressure because my right side is apparently slightly weaker than the left. And so the left side's taking all the pressure. and has begun to affect my knee and things like that. So I've been to physio for that a while back, and one of the exercises was to strengthen the right side of my body. Now the eczema is predominantly on the right side of my body. The left side it's there, but it's not as much. It doesn't hurt as much, doesn't itch as much. But the right side seems to have some kind of thing. So God specifically did actually tell me to continue with that strengthening of the right side of my body. It's a strange thing to do. I'm not going to go and tell you, right, everybody, go and do your exercises on your right side of your body. It's not going to work for you because that's not what He's asked you to do. But what you need to get into the habit of doing is asking Him specifically for you. Doesn't matter what, if it's not eczema, something else, whatever it is you have, specifically for you, what is it exactly is the problem? What is the root cause? Ask Him, He will tell you, and you do it. It will go. Yeah, but it's just about being obedient, and it's about being consistent and determined to follow through. And if you've been obedient, but you're struggling to follow through with it and being consistent, then maybe that's where, I could support you. I do have a one-to-one coaching, keeping you accountable for whatever it is that God is telling you to do, and just taking you through that process. Because sometimes for me, I need accountability for something because it's not easy. You do need that support, and so I get myself coaches. I get myself counselors and support for the areas in which I need to improve. I do that because no one's an island. You can't just live on your own like that. So similarly, that's not a word. In the same way, let's use that word. I can provide that for you. I'm being strengthened by others, and then let me strengthen you. Connect with me. If you need that extra help, I can take you through step by step. If it's more about strengthening your faith, then there's areas I have for that as well. We're doing our healing through dance. Course that I'm developing. Depending on when you're watching this, there is some free content on my YouTube out already, but I'm developing a specific course for that. Depends on when you listen to it, may or may not be out already. So look out for those things there to help you begin to memorize the scripture, building your faith. Once you build your faith, you can hear God. Once you can hear God, He'll tell you what to do. Once He's told you what to do, you need to maintain that. And if you need any support with that, maintaining, then that's why He's asked me to support you. All right, guys, I hope I've remembered everything that I jumped back on to say. This light is really bright. I'm testing out some new equipment, so bear with me. All right, guys, have a wonderful night, and I will see you and give you another update soon. Bye.